Hey guys, we got a 2007 Pontiac Vibe, and we're going to do front brake pads and rotors on it today, and we'll get going on it. We got a 14mm bolt on here for the caliper we're going to take off, and we'll slip the caliper back and we'll show you how to press the piston. The caliper back, and we want to get our bar in here and kind of collapse the piston a little bit. And if we can collapse the piston all now, we won't have to use the vice grips to squeeze the caliper down. So it's going down nice. Just work it. And we'll see if we get it all the way collapsed. If not, we can use the vice grips to close it down a little bit. Okay, we didn't get it all the way down, so we have some vice grips. We'll show you that in a minute, how to collapse that. We're going to take the bracket off here for the caliper bar, and they're 17mm, and we're just checking our caliper pins aren't frozen, so we're going to remove them and lube them with the synthetic caliper pin lube that we have. And bolts on the backside there are 17s, and sometimes you need a half-inch drive brake bar to crack them loose. We're going to see if we can get these loose with the 3/8. Okay, that one going. Now this top one here with the ratchet, it kind of runs its way into the bolt for the strut. So we'll crack this one loose, and we can only get it back so far because it's going to try and hit the head over here. So we'll get it out as far as we can and see if we can still get the ratchet off. Now we can use a gear wrench or an open end wrench. But if you work it back until it tightens up, you can just turn your ratchet back on to tighten. We'll get the threads going here, and we can wobble the ratchet off. Let's get this bottom one out and see if we can get the other one out with our fingers now. Get this one loose. Work it off with the ratchet a little more. There we go. Okay, slide this off with the pads. Now we're going to take this over to the bench, and we're going to lube our caliper pins. Take a hammer and you just knock these out, and as you can see, this was due for a brake job. Pads are paper thin, and we got new rotors as well. Now the brake pads came through. There's no, in this particular kit that we got, there was no clips with them, so we're going to wire brush our clips right here, and these are in good condition for reuse, and we just wire brush it nice and clean. These little cheap wire brushes that you buy, they're really worth their weight right now when you're cleaning these up. Fit right in the grooves nice. Clean these all up good. Now we can pull our pins out, and we have our synthetic caliper pin lube here, and we'll break the seal on the boots here, and then just pull the pin out. And they're still not dry, which is good. So we're going to put some synthetic grease on them. We like the synthetic grease. It's really good for the heat. It's tolerant to the heat. Now it's a little extra on there. You're going to slide it into your boot and push it in. It's going to press down. See how the pin's pushing back? That's what you want. So we'll get this one out. Do the same thing with this one. Move these all up good. Okay, those are good. Now we got our slides here. We're going to put some caliper pin lube on these, run it through these. A lot of times you get clips with the pads. This particular set we didn't get them. These are good to reuse, so we're good with it. So put that on there. And let's cut open our brake pads here. You want to make sure your hands are clean when you're dealing with these. You don't want a big blob of grease on your hand. And slide these in to the holder here. Sometimes these go in nice, sometimes they can break your butt, but if you slide them in like this, you'd like to twist them, but they don't really twist. So you start them from the top, and that's what we've been finding, and if you push back a little bit on them, you can get them to slide down into place. Okay, this one's in. Do the same thing with this one. Wipe my hands again. So by sliding the brake into position like this, at least I know it's going to fit, and it's fitting there. So if I'm pushing down, pushing in on an angle like this, try and get them started. Okay, I get it started, but what did I do? I knocked the other one out. So let's go back to this one. Okay. Perfect. And they slide nice and easy in there. So this caliper is all set up. Our boots are done. The pins, are all lubed. We got our slides down. We got our brake pads sitting in place. We're going to take these vice grips and we're going to go over and just finish collapsing that caliper a little bit. I'm just going to grab it like this and very gently just give it a squeeze. And it's going in. I'm not trying to force it all at once. And try and get to the center of it if you can, somewhat. Alright, that one's collapsed. Now we gotta knock the rotor off. So we're going to take our caliper and just tuck it down onto the back side over here and set it on the tie rod so it's out of the way. And we're going to hit the rotor on the back side here and on the front to break it loose. Sometimes there's some holes in the rotors here, but these older ones don't have it, the newer ones do. So we're going to tap it with the hammer and we'll get it to crack loose. Alright, so we're going to hit the rotor. Flip this off. To make sure that this is clean, we're going to put some never sees on the axle here. So on the spindle, I should say, so the new rotor fits on. It won't freeze on there. And we'll get the new rotor prep. We're going to clean the new rotor. A little brake clean and clean it all up nice, and we'll put some never sees on that. We'll do that right now. Just makes it a lot easier when you go in there next time to do brakes. Okay, we're going to screw up bolts right now. Little never sees on these. Just need a little bit. We also have our 2 bolts for the caliper bracket. We have everything will be set so we can clean that rotor and put it on. And we're all ready for reassembly here, so. Clean that rotor. So we're just going to spray a light coating of brake clean on here. Wipe this off, get the oil off the rotor. Alright, this puppy's ready to install. Slip this on. Alright, we're going to slide this on. And I like to put a nut on for the wheel. Kind of holds the rotor, up into place. This thing feels a little wobbly there. There it is. Take a good look then. Built up on the spindle hub. It's all pressed on now though, so. And then squeeze our pads together. And all of our bolts are all lubed together, so everything's ready to go on. Alright, found the hole. Sure the stock's right. Caliper, these pins have to go in a certain angle to line up onto the caliper here. You want to make sure the hose isn't twisted. Say you got a flat spot on the caliper here, and you got one down here, and you got to try and get these to line up. Now, before we put this on, we want to get some caliper pin lube, and we're going to put some lube on this piston to keep the boot moist so it doesn't dry up and crack. This is under a lot of heat in this area, so by putting a little bit of that synthetic grease there and there, it just kind of keeps everything lubricated and quiet. So let's get the synthetic grease. Alright, just going to apply a thin coat just to get some on. On and line up our bracket here, our caliper pin. Okay, that one lined up. This one's the same way. Our bolt's already lubed up. Everything's starting nice and easy because it's all lubricated. 14. Alrighty. So we'll go in, we'll pump up the brake a couple of times, and you know, you know, if you guys are doing this at home, the rotor doesn't feel like it fits on, press it on a little bit with the lugs. We got the never-sees, it's going to be fine. You can run a wire brush over that and scrape that a little. In our case, it worked out. So the other side is going to be done the exact same way. Same process for the caliper and the caliper pins and everything, the rotor, same exact process. We're just going to slip the wheel on, pump the brakes up, we'll check our brake fluid level, and we'll take it for a blast, and that should be it.